You're listening to the Lovish Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Sita Hood, vision architect and licensed therapist. Each week, I'm going to help you to develop the belief and strategy necessary to make an immediate impact on the world by deep diving into topics like mental wellness, faith, relationships, and you guessed it, love. I should mention before we hop into the show, this is not a substitute for a relationship with a licensed therapist. You ready? Let's get it. Hello. Welcome back for another episode of the Lovish Podcast. If you are listening to this on your favorite listening platform, I want to let you know it's another video podcast. I am your host, Dr. Sita Hood, vision architect and licensed therapist, and I could not be more excited to welcome you back for another episode of the Lovish Podcast. I want to let you know that there are a couple of trigger warnings here before we proceed. If you saw the title, you know we talking about Balenciaga. Before we get into Balenciaga, what's in your mug today? I am sipping on a vanilla sweet cream cold brew from Starbucks. Let me know what's in your mug. And if you are watching this on YouTube and you find that you're meeting me here, then just go ahead and hit the subscribe button and let's just make this thing official. Let's just meet every week. Cool? Okay. What are your principles? What are your principles? Have you ever thought about that? The average person is not considering what their principles are every day. Most of us have stories, narratives, experiences that contribute to who we are and how we respond to life situations, but we're not necessarily mindful of what our principles are. Principles guide your life choices. They are the basis for your daily priorities. So whether you are aware of them or not, you got principles. And you should probably get on the side of understanding what your principles are and how they show up in your everyday life. So for those that don't know, back in November 2022, Balenciaga, the luxury fashion brand, they released a campaign featuring their new teddy bears with bondage, harness, and costumes, aka BDSM, and a child was holding these teddy bears, or children were holding these teddy bears. So for obvious reasons, the majority of the world had an issue with that. One of the teddy bears also has had in the picture a bruised eye, leather clothes, just extra stuff, right? So long story short, the campaign was not good. And it could be implied that Balenciaga stands for BDSM and child abuse, like BDSM with children, so child pornography, or even child abuse among children. So naturally, many people stopped supporting Balenciaga. And I'll be honest, I was actually considering making a purchase from them. But after this campaign, it's a hard no for me. Okay. I don't care if they sued the designer. I don't care if they retracted the ad. I don't care if they retracted the teddy bears. I don't care if they retracted the photographs. It's out there. And I don't want to be associated with that in any way, shape, or form. It's already bad enough that Balenciaga is known for cultural appropriation, stealing the work of Black artists and then having it on white artists or white models and not giving full credit to the Black artists that work hard to come up with the visual concept or all these other creative concepts and art and forms of art and fashion. So Balenciaga got some work to do. They got some work to do. Okay. And I think that this campaign with the children or whatever really just turn the spotlight on them. And when you look up their company and scandals, they got a long list of hidden scandals. And let's be clear, Balenciaga is not the only one, but I just hate how sometimes culturally we ignore people's principles just for the sake of doing it for the culture, looking good for the culture, chasing clout because we got a certain thing on. Like, no, they have principles, so they say. They're not in agreement with these things. Even the statement that they released, they're saying they weren't in agreement with that campaign and all of that. But here's my question: how did this even reach the level to be released publicly? Because how many approval processes are necessary before an image is released to the public? How many eyes have to be laid on a creative project before it's released to the public? So all of those eyes, all of those people saw the campaign, saw this, and said, oh yeah, we could release it like that. And then you want to tell me that Balenciaga does not stand for this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm saying that because it could be true that they have a set of principles, a set of standards that really do matter, that are centered on family. But what is giving is that they are in alignment with child abuse, that they're in alignment with child pornography, because there's no way, shape, or form this is okay. Under no circumstance was that ad okay. It should never have been released. The idea should have been shut down at the table when they were even discussing it. And I'm aware that we're getting second, third, fourth hand news because it is the news. So people hide what they want to hide and share what they want to share. Stuff slips out. But I will say all of it might not be true, but some of it, a large part of it probably is true, because 99 Frenchmen ain't going to tell the same lie. Okay. And I got to take a sip of coffee on that. What does that have to do with you today? What am I saying to you today? I'm saying to you that you've got to develop some life principles. If you don't have life principles, then you will do whatever is trendy, whatever is hip, whatever floats your boat, and then you're going to find yourself just like Balenciaga. Cultural appropriation, where you're doing stuff and you don't even have the full understanding of what you're doing. And not only that, you're going to find yourself in hot water. You're going to find yourself in a position where you never should have been, honestly, if you were aware of your principles. So you've got to get clear on what your principles are in life. And you should do that now rather than later, because your principles dictate how you act at work, who you are as a parent, who you are as a friend, how you show up when somebody frustrates you. All of your decisions that you make on a regular basis are tied into your life principles. I want you to take a moment and I want you to reflect on a time where your principles either saved you or got you in some really hot water. I want you to just think about that for a second, because again, principles are literally the foundation of your life. And this is why it's one of the very first things that I teach people inside of the Visionary Blueprint. It's part of the Visionary Blueprint. So let me back up just a little bit, because your values inform your principles and your principles inform your priorities. So there's a very specific way that we go about developing these. But I want to give you just a hair of an example here, right? So if my value is legacy, leaving a legacy for my family, then the way that that principle shows up in my life is that I don't just make decisions that are for me, that are good for me at the moment. I make decisions that are catered towards building a better future for the people that are behind me, because legacy is an important value to me. And how does that play out in my daily life? So that means that when I'm deciding, like, okay, I have this great idea. I want to build this thing. I want to build this empire. It has the potential to become $1 million company. That's where I'm at. And I need money right now to pay my bills. So there's that piece. But I also need money to pay my bills, right? And there's this job here that's telling me, okay, we'll pay you $90K a year to do whatever, right? But if you take this job where you're doing $90K a year, you're getting $90K a year, you're capped off at that $90K. So you might get your bills paid for the time being, but on the other hand, you have no time to work on this thing that is going to leave a legacy. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take the 90K job. I'm saying that you should do what is in alignment for you. So if you need to pay your bills right now and the 90K job is the only way that you can pay your bills, then now you might need to take that job, but then create some sort of strategy for transitioning into the important $1 million vision that you saw and bringing that to life, starting that $1 million company so that you can leave a legacy. On the other hand, if you currently have a way to make money and you also are building this $1 million thing, and then you get an offer for a 90K job, but your principles are around legacy and making choices for the future, I think the answer is pretty clear. Are you going to chase the 90K or are you going to chase the million? Because either way it goes, you're going to work. The 90K might satisfy you right now. The million satisfies you and your future and legacy and people that are coming up behind you. So that's the importance of being clear on your principles so that you can determine your life moves. And I am fully aware that some of y'all gonna disagree with me on that, and that's totally okay. It's fine. I know that there are a lot of other details and intricacies that come into making a choice as to whether you go this route or that route. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying that being an entrepreneur or starting a business or whatever is the only way that you can leave a legacy. That's not true. I'm not even saying that entrepreneurship is 100% it, because I do believe that some people's mission, the way that other people leave a legacy, is to climb the corporate ladder, is to bring something that is unique, a unique spin, to leave a legacy. For example, you could leave a legacy where a legacy of Jesus. Christians say that all the time, right? If I believe in leaving a legacy of Jesus or Christianity, I'm going to teach my children that value, the value of having a relationship with Jesus, the value of going to church, the value of staying connected to the vine, the value of reading their Bible, right? And if I believe in work ethic, I'm going to demonstrate that and communicate that to them, the value of that principle. So there's a lot of different ways that this can play out. It doesn't just look one way. That's why you've got to decide what is in alignment for you. What are your principles? What do you stand on? What do you stand for? And the reason why you might be struggling in some of your relationships is because you're not clear on your life principles. You don't understand what it is you stand for, why it's important, and you're not communicating those principles to other people. And really understanding that means taking some time to pause and probably get up in that journal, okay? Like, you got to see how you feel. You got a lot of thoughts and stuff floating around up here, but you owe it to yourself to unpack that and to explore, what does this actually mean for me? What does it actually look like playing out in my real life, in my everyday decisions? What does that mean? What does it look like? If you're not clear on your principles, I want to encourage you to consider spending some time developing your core principles, figuring out how you want to show up in the world, how you want to make the world a better place. It's time to talk about what I've been loving. Product recommendations, shout outs to family and friends, and overall gratitude. Let's get into it. Baby. Hey, okay, so what I've been loving this week, I'm not even gonna hold you, has been this Fenty Easy Drop, okay? And I'm steady wanting to call it Easy Butter Drop, but yo, this product right here, come on. Where are my no makeup girls? Here's one. I'm here. And for those of you that are listening to this, I'm definitely showing off my face. Let me just remove the spectacles for a second so y'all can get some clarity on this Easy Drop, okay? I love having a no makeup look and a simple everyday routine for my face. And I don't like to feel weighed down by makeup. Like, I'm not I don't cake makeup on. Never have. Don't enjoy that. Don't like, it's not. So that's what I've been loving this week. If you have not checked out Fenty, like, I'm just a Fenty fan, okay? I'm a Fenty girl. I already done told y'all I'm rooting for everybody black, okay? But I just love Rihanna. So Rihanna, if you ever see this, girl, thank you. Thank you for going beyond singing. First of all, you can sing. So let's be clear. You can sing, sis. Like, thank you for going beyond singing, though, to establish skincare items, beauty items, and everything. A Savage and Fenty. Like, girl, you better build your empire. Okay, I'm here for it. And I'm here for it because I love all your stuff. But also, I love what you stand for. So, and again, y'all, this is an example of somebody whose principles I'm in alignment with. She's here for the people, okay? And while she's not exclusively for Black women, we all know she be looking out for us, right? She look out for the melanin girlies. So that's what I'm loving this week. And if you enjoyed today's episode, share the love. Share it with your mama, share it with your auntie, share it with your best friend. Then head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Reviews help the podcast to grow. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I'll see you out in these social media streets. Bye.